In the silent highlands of Bolivia, where the thin air touches the edge of the sky and the world seems to slow its breath, lies a place that looks as if it was shaped not by human hands, but by machines from another age. This ancient site, called Puma Punku, is more than a pile of ruins scattered on a desolate plateau. It is a puzzle cut in stone. It is a whisper from deep antiquity, telling us something about skill, design, and precision that seems to exceed what we believe ancient people were capable of. Every surface of its stones, every cut, every angle, speaks a language of perfection, one that appears almost mechanical. This is the wonder that draws explorers, archaeologists, and dreamers to question whether the people who built Puma Punku might have held lost knowledge, forgotten technology, or something even more mysterious. As night falls over the Andean plains, the vast landscape reflects a silence that feels endless. The wind passes softly over the stones, and their sharp edges still gleam faintly under the starlight. You can almost feel the pulse of an ancient civilization echoing through the air. These massive blocks, some weighing dozens of tons, rest together so precisely that even a blade cannot fit between them. It is as though a sculptor with access to laser-like tools carved them into geometrical perfection. Yet this work, we are told, was done more than 1,000 years before the Incas, long before iron tools, long before machines. The mystery begins with the stones themselves. The builders of Puma Punku chose andesite, a rock nearly as hard as granite, and red sandstone brought from miles away. These are not materials a primitive people would have chosen if they sought an easy task. The andesite is dense, fine-grained, heavy, unforgiving. To cut it requires immense skill and technology even today. Yet the walls of Puma Punku proudly display stones with edges that meet at perfect 90-degree angles, drill-like holes, and smooth grooves as if machined with a precision that modern engineers struggle to replicate with hand tools. Who were these people who could shape nature's hardest materials into a harmony of lines and surfaces? When you look closer, something even more astonishing appears. The blocks of Puma Punku do not merely sit beside one another, they lock together like components in an intricate assembly. Each block is carved to fit into the next through slots, channels, and right-angled indentations. It seems the builders designed these pieces to resist time itself, to interlock in a way that would make them strong against earthquakes, wind, and centuries of erosion. This is not random stone stacking. It is intelligent design on a level both artistic and structural. The idea that such innovation could exist thousands of years ago, without metal tools or written plans, defies the line of history as we know it. And yet, no visible tool marks tell us how it was done. There is no sign of chiseling, no hint of the crude hammering seen at other ancient sites. Every surface looks like it was milled, as if passed beneath a spinning blade. This absence of evidence has given birth to endless theories. Some say unknown forms of stone softening techniques were used, involving heat or chemicals. Others believe copper tools, if used with enough patience, could have shaped the stone, though experiments suggest this method would take lifetimes and still fail to produce such perfection. Then there are those who look further into the unknown, imagining lost civilizations with skills we no longer possess, or even influences from beyond our world. But for archaeologists working with evidence, the truth remains a quiet riddle, buried in the dust of the Bolivian highlands. As the soft rhythm of night deepens, the story of Puma Punku feels almost unreal. The site sits within the ancient city complex of Tiwanaku, once a powerful center of culture long before the Incan Empire rose to prominence. Tiwanaku's people are thought to have lived and thrived here between 500 and 1000 AD, though Puma Punku itself might be older. At an altitude of nearly 13,000 feet, life in this region was harsh, cold, and thin. Yet from this frozen world, someone produced one of the most geometrically precise constructions known to archaeology. It challenges the timeline of advancement, as if human innovation took a great leap here and then fell asleep for centuries. Imagine the scene thousands of years ago. Builders chipping, shaping, carrying huge slabs across miles of uneven terrain. Teams aligning blocks so precisely that centuries later their joints remain perfect. Without cranes, without wheels, without steel. The stones are so large that even our best modern technology would struggle to move and position them with such accuracy. The largest of them weighs over 100 tons. Some researchers claim the site once formed a grand platform, perhaps a temple or gateway, each stone carefully designed to join the others without mortar. Others think it was a spiritual monument, a reflection of celestial alignment, its sharp corners pointing toward the movement of the stars. The beauty of Puma Punku is not only in its mystery, but in what it represents. It embodies humanity's endless desire to build, to perfect, to transcend limitations. These stones, cut with impossible accuracy, whisper of pride and purpose. Perhaps they were carved for gods, or to symbolize eternal strength. Perhaps they were built to connect heaven and earth. Whatever the reason, the construction speaks of order, a deliberate geometry carried out with an intelligence we don't yet understand. In the distance, you can picture the workers shaping the stone under the thin mountain sun, the clang of copper against rock echoing across the valley. The air would have been crisp and thin, the light sharp and bright. Every movement of the carver's hand mattered, every line meeting its twin in seamless symmetry. Even if they used primitive tools, the coordination and planning required would demand advanced mathematics and a deep familiarity with geometry. Some researchers argue that these stones could only have been shaped with the assistance of rulers and templates, possibly with knowledge passed down from an earlier technological age. If true, this would place Puma Punku among the most advanced engineering feats of ancient times, comparable not in scale, but in sophistication, to the pyramids of Egypt or the megaliths of Stonehenge. Then again, part of Puma Punku's power lies in the unknown. The absence of written records means the site cannot explain itself. The Tiwanaku civilization left behind no clear narrative, no inscriptions to guide our theories. All that remains are stones, arranged with incredible intelligence. To some, that silence invites speculation about forces beyond our comprehension. To others, it reinforces the idea that human ingenuity, even with simple tools, can achieve results as seemingly miraculous as those produced by machines. If you walk among the ruins today, the ground crunches under your feet, and the wind hums a lonely tune. The place feels ancient yet strangely modern. The stones, though weathered, still hold sharp edges and polished planes. The designs look deliberate, their patterns geometric and exact. You might notice the famous H-shaped blocks carved forms so uniform that scholars once thought they must have been cast, not carved. Each H-block is proportionally identical, built with millimeter precision. How could ancient artisans repeat such exact dimensions without a system of measurement or advanced tools? This question continues to unsettle our understanding of what was possible in a pre-industrial world. As science struggles to provide definite answers, imagination fills the gaps. Some propose that mankind once knew secrets of energy or material science long since lost. Perhaps they harnessed vibration, sound, or geological forces in ways we can no longer reproduce. Others believe the explanation lies not in lost knowledge, but in pure dedication, generations of craftsmen passing down techniques, perfecting them through relentless effort and intuition. Both ideas hold their own beauty. Whether we imagine impossible tools or extraordinary human persistence, the achievement remains awe-inspiring. From an aerial view, Puma Punku looks like the skeleton of a great structure, as if a giant machine once rested upon it. Line meets line, and surface meets surface, with astonishing clarity. There is a mathematical elegance to the arrangement, not random, not decorative, but purposeful. This geometric harmony makes the site uniquely mesmerizing. It appears both ancient and futuristic, as though an architect from another age dreamed in perfect symmetries and then left their blueprint etched in stone. Spend time among these stones, and you begin to feel their gravity, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual one. The silence they hold is deep and patient. It invites reflection on the nature of intelligence, on how civilizations rise and leave their mark not through words, but through the perfection of form. The builders of Puma Punku, whoever they were, have long vanished, but their message endures in every smooth surface, every interlocking joint. It is a message about persistence, about the pursuit of mastery in the face of limitation. It is about finding order amid chaos, harmony within stone. As scholars analyze the details, they find that the alignment of blocks may hint at more than just structural design. Some orientations seem intentional, perhaps in harmony with celestial event, solstices, equinoxes, the position of the sun. Could the builders have encoded astronomical knowledge within these walls? Such precision and purpose suggest they did. Even if we cannot yet decipher the deeper meaning, the alignment indicates the presence of scientific understanding hidden within art. Over time, the stones of Puma Punku have suffered collapse, earthquakes, and erosion. Many lie scattered, toppled, as though some immense force had once shaken the region. Yet even in ruin, they radiate power and complexity. Restoration efforts have only uncovered fragments of the original structure, but each discovery reveals the same perfection. No two pieces seem accidental. Even fragments from unseen corners show exact engineering, symmetrical holes, parallel cuts, grooves that run like tracks for something once meant to move or align. Standing beside these ancient stones in the cold Andean air, one cannot help but feel the weight of time pressing gently on every thought. The world has changed beyond measure since the builders worked here, yet their mastery feels timeless. The civilization that created Puma Punku vanished, its language gone, its memory fragmented. And yet, through the enduring mathematical precision etched in stone, their voice continues to reach us, a whisper saying that human potential, whether ancient or modern, knows no boundary. And as the mind drifts deeper into this quiet reflection, the beauty of the mystery becomes the story itself. Puma Punku is more than an archaeological site, it is a meditation carved in rock, an invitation to wonder, to question, to dream. Perhaps one day, science will uncover the truth behind its machine-like perfection. Or perhaps its power lies in remaining unknown, a timeless enigma reminding us that the line between the ancient and the advanced is thinner than we think. For now, beneath the stars over Bolivia, the stones keep their secret, and the night keeps its silence. At the edge of the world, where the earth stretches outward in vast, windswept plains beneath a sky so immense it feels endless, lies the ancient complex known as Puma Punku. It is perched on the high-altitude plateau of the Bolivian Andes, at nearly 13,000 feet above sea level, where the air is thin and cold, and life clings stubbornly to the rocky soil. This place is more than just stone and dust. It is an extraordinary testament to the ingenuity of the people who lived here long before the rise of the Inca Empire, long before the world imagined civilizations capable of such architectural mastery. Puma Punku resides within the Greater Tiwanaku Complex, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized not merely for its size but for the precision and mystery shrouding every stone block. This enormous terraced platform, once crowned with monumental structures, now reduced largely to ruins, offers a glimpse into a lost epoch. Here, the silent stones stand as an invitation to imagine what life might have been like on the Altiplano, a place where clouds drift low, and the stars shine with brilliant intensity through the thin mountain air. It is a landscape both harsh and breathtaking, a testament to survival and adaptation. The people who built Puma Punku were not mere survivors, they were artists, engineers, and visionaries who shaped their environment with an astounding level of skill and knowledge. Tiwanaku, the city to which Puma Punku belongs, was a thriving cultural, political, and religious center between roughly 300 and 1000 AD. At its height, it spanned several square kilometers and accommodated tens of thousands of inhabitants. The people of Tiwanaku developed an agricultural system adapted to the challenging terrain, trading goods and ideas far beyond their immediate region. Their influence stretched across vast parts of the Andes, from modern-day Bolivia into parts of Peru, Argentina, and Chile. Yet despite their importance, few direct records survive to tell us their story. Their writing is lost, their history fractured, leaving behind primarily their monumental architecture as a silent witness to their existence. Puma Punku is considered the crowning achievement of Tiwanaku's architectural legacy, embodying the highest levels of precision and creativity. The ruins we see today were once part of a carefully designed complex of plazas, ramps, and platforms aligned with both terrestrial and celestial markers. At the center, the platform mound was a stage for ceremonies, political gatherings, and spiritual observances. Though the buildings atop the platform have long since vanished or collapsed, the remaining stonework reveals a dedication to geometry and order that is startling even by modern standards. The site's very name, meaning Gate of the Puma in the indigenous Aymara and Quechua languages, evokes the powerful symbolism that the animal held for the inhabitants. The puma, a creature of strength and grace, is woven into the cultural fabric of the Andes, embodying concepts of power, agility, and spiritual protection. Naming such a complex after this revered animal suggests that the builders sought to infuse their work with meaning beyond the physical world to connect stone and spirit in a lasting bond. But Puma Punku's location offers more than symbolism. It reveals the extraordinary logistics of ancient human endeavor. The site sits far above the natural tree line, in a zone where the air pressure forces each breath to labor through thin lungs and where the nights are bitterly cold. Even today, fewer plants grow here, and only certain hardy eucalyptus trees were introduced much later. To build such a complex in this forbidding environment required immense coordination, endurance, and knowledge of the land. The builders not only had to source massive blocks of stone, some transported from quarries as far as 60 miles away, but also had to move and fit these stones with unparalleled precision. No monkeys in the trees, no wheels for carts, no steel cranes, only human strength, ingenuity, and perseverance. The stones themselves tell a story of challenges overcome. Andesite and red sandstone were the primary materials, both extremely hard and difficult to work with. Quarrying these stones demanded tools tough enough to chip through rock, and moving them across rugged terrain was a feat of engineering and human labor. Considering the weight of some stones, which exceed 100 tons, historians ponder how the builders achieved this without damaging the blocks or leaving traces of rope abrasions or drag marks in the surrounding landscape. This mystery deepens when examining the stonework itself, where surfaces are smoothed to a glassy finish and angles meet with millimeter accuracy. The exquisite shaping of the stones creates an effect that flirts with the impossible. Here, massive blocks interlock perfectly like giant puzzles. Their joints are designed not to be static but to resist shifting, absorbing shocks from earthquakes that frequently shake the region. The builders knew their land and its dangers well and developed these fitting mechanisms to ensure the longevity of their constructions. It is engineering for eternity. This durable design speaks to a world where architecture was not just shelter or structure but a cosmic statement, a harmony of earth, sky, and human will. Astronomical alignment could have played a pivotal role in the site's significance. Some researchers propose that the layout of Puma Punku aligns with solstices and celestial events, embedding the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars in stone. Such cosmic awareness indicates complex observational knowledge and suggests that the platform was more than a political or religious hub. It was a calendar, a celestial machine designed to track time and seasons, crucial for agriculture and ceremony. Despite the passage of centuries, the cold mountain winds, and the collapse of much of the original structure, the surviving stones continue to convey messages of balance and order. Each carved groove and hole reveals the skilled hands of craftsmen who valued symmetrical forms and repeated patterns. The famed H-shaped blocks are a prime example, carved with such extraordinary care that their precision rivals modern industrial manufacturing. No two blocks seem identical, yet they fit together with uniformity that defies ordinary workmanship. The method used, how they maintained scale and symmetry without metal measuring tools or written plans, remains one of the most captivating archaeological riddles in the world. The absence of tool marks or signs of abrasion typical of stone working technologies adds a layer of intrigue. No chisel cuts, no symbols of hammer stocks, they resemble stone surfaces created through a technique closer to milling or machining than carving. Experimental archaeologists who attempted to replicate these results using replicas of contemporary tools often failed to match the level of fineness and interlocking precision. This absence points to either a lost technology or an extraordinary mastery of materials and stoneworking that has vanished from human memory. Environmental conditions surely influenced the site's fate as well. Around 1000 AD, evidence suggests a prolonged drought swept across the region, undermining the agricultural base of Tiwanaku's population. This climatic shift likely contributed to the abandonment and gradual ruin of Puma Punku. Once bustling with festivals, religious rites, and political gatherings, the site fell silent, its stones toppled and scattered through centuries of natural decay and human intervention. Yet even in decline, the site's spiritual and cultural resonance did not vanish. Local legends and folklore passed down through generations carry echoes of Tiwanaku's South reverence for this place. The stories speak of celestial beings, of gates between worlds, and of powers encoded in stone. This blend of history and myth enriches the mystery further, inviting listeners to enter a meditative state where the boundaries between fact and imagination blur. The silence of Puma Punku invites calm contemplation. Its architecture encourages a sense of wonder and a deep respect for the unknown, a quality essential to the slow descent into restful sleep. Puma Punku is not simply an archaeological site, it is an enduring enigma wrapped in the highland wind, a place where the might of human ambition meets the quietude of nature. The stones stand like sentinels at the edge of time, inviting us to reflect on the skill, vision, and spirit of those who shaped them. The landscape itself, austere and majestic, holds the memory of a people who dared to build with precision and passion in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. As the night sky above the Altiplano deepens to a dark velvet, the stars seem to echo the geometry of Puma Punku. The constellations map the same angles, the same patterns woven into the stone, and the universe's silent rhythm matches the timeless pulse of the ruins below. To rest in this story is to surrender to a gentle dance between mystery and knowledge, between the solidity of rock and the fluid vastness of the cosmos. Here, at the edge of the world, beneath the gaze of ancient mountains and eternal stars, Puma Punku remains a beacon of human endurance and creativity. It whispers of a civilization that reached toward perfection, crafting stone not only as a physical matter but as a symbol of harmony between earth and sky. It reminds us that even in the harshest of places, the human spirit can carve meaning, beauty, and mystery that endure beyond the ages. Would you like the next section focused on the technical details of the stone cutting and block fitting at Puma Punku? At the edge of the world, where the earth stretches outward in vast, windswept plains beneath a sky so immense it feels endless, lies the ancient complex known as Puma Punku. It is perched on the high-altitude plateau of the Bolivian Andes, at nearly 13,000 feet above sea level, where the air is thin and cold, and life clings stubbornly to the rocky soil. This place is more than just stone and dust. It is an extraordinary testament to the ingenuity of the people who lived here long before the rise of the Inca Empire, long before the world imagined civilizations capable of such architectural mastery. Puma Punku resides within the Greater Tiwanaku Complex, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized not merely for its size but for the precision and mystery shrouding every stone block. This enormous terraced platform, once crowned with monumental structures, now reduced largely to ruins, offers a glimpse into a lost epoch. Here, the silent stones stand as an invitation to imagine what life might have been like on the Altiplano, a place where clouds drift low, and the stars shine with brilliant intensity through the thin mountain air. It is a landscape both harsh and breathtaking, a testament to survival and adaptation. The people who built Puma Punku were not mere survivors, they were artists, engineers, and visionaries who shaped their environment with an astounding level of skill and knowledge. Tiwanaku, the city to which Puma Punku belongs, was a thriving cultural, political, and religious center between roughly 300 and 1000 AD. At its height, it spanned several square kilometers and accommodated tens of thousands of inhabitants. The people of Tiwanaku developed an agricultural system adapted to the challenging terrain, trading goods and ideas far beyond their immediate region. Their influence stretched across vast parts of the Andes, from modern-day Bolivia into parts of Peru, Argentina, and Chile. Yet despite their importance, few direct records survive to tell us their story. Their writing is lost, their history fractured, leaving behind primarily their monumental architecture as a silent witness to their existence. Puma Punku is considered the crowning achievement of Tiwanaku's architectural legacy, embodying the highest levels of precision and creativity. The ruins we see today were once part of a carefully designed complex of plazas, ramps, and platforms aligned with both terrestrial and celestial markers. At the center, the platform mound was a stage for ceremonies, political gatherings, and spiritual observances. Though the buildings atop the platform have long since vanished or collapsed, the remaining stonework reveals a dedication to geometry and order that is startling even by modern standards. The site's very name, meaning Gate of the Puma in the indigenous Aymara and Quechua languages, evokes the powerful symbolism that the animal held for the inhabitants. The puma, a creature of strength and grace, is woven into the cultural fabric of the Andes, embodying concepts of power, agility, and spiritual protection. Naming such a complex after this revered animal suggests that the builders sought to infuse their work with meaning beyond the physical world to connect stone and spirit in a lasting bond. But Puma Punku's location offers more than symbolism. It reveals the extraordinary logistics of ancient human endeavor. The site sits far above the natural tree line, in a zone where the air pressure forces each breath to labor through thin lungs and where the nights are bitterly cold. Even today, fewer plants grow here, and only certain hardy eucalyptus trees were introduced much later. To build such a complex in this forbidding environment required immense coordination, endurance, and knowledge of the land. The builders not only had to source massive blocks of stone, some transported from quarries as far as 60 miles away, but also had to move and fit these stones with unparalleled precision. No monkeys in the trees, no wheels for carts, no steel cranes, only human strength, ingenuity, and perseverance. The stones themselves tell a story of challenges overcome. Andesite and red sandstone were the primary materials, both extremely hard and difficult to work with. Quarrying these stones demanded tools tough enough to chip through rock, and moving them across rugged terrain was a feat of engineering and human labor. Considering the weight of some stones, which exceed 100 tons, historians ponder how the builders achieved this without damaging the blocks or leaving traces of rope abrasions or drag marks in the surrounding landscape. This mystery deepens when examining the stonework itself, where surfaces are smoothed to a glassy finish and angles meet with millimeter accuracy. The exquisite shaping of the stones creates an effect that flirts with the impossible. Here, massive blocks interlock perfectly like giant puzzles. Their joints are designed not to be static but to resist shifting, absorbing shocks from earthquakes that frequently shake the region. The builders knew their land and its dangers well and developed these fitting mechanisms to ensure the longevity of their constructions. It is engineering for eternity. This durable design speaks to a world where architecture was not just shelter or structure but a cosmic statement, a harmony of earth, sky, and human will. Astronomical alignment could have played a pivotal role in the site's significance. Some researchers propose that the layout of Puma Punku aligns with solstices and celestial events, embedding the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars in stone. Such cosmic awareness indicates complex observational knowledge and suggests that the platform was more than a political or religious hub. It was a calendar, a celestial machine designed to track time and seasons, crucial for agriculture and ceremony. Despite the passage of centuries, the cold mountain winds, and the collapse of much of the original structure, the surviving stones continue to convey messages of balance and order. Each carved groove and hole reveals the skilled hands of craftsmen who valued symmetrical forms and repeated patterns. The famed H-shaped blocks are a prime example, carved with such extraordinary care that their precision rivals modern industrial manufacturing. No two blocks seem identical, yet they fit together with uniformity that defies ordinary workmanship. The method used, how they maintained scale and symmetry without metal measuring tools or written plans, remains one of the most captivating archaeological riddles in the world. The absence of tool marks or signs of abrasion typical of stone working technologies adds a layer of intrigue. No chisel cuts, No symbols of hammer stocks, they resemble stone surfaces created through a technique closer to milling or machining than carving. Experimental archaeologists who attempted to replicate these results using replicas of contemporary tools often failed to match the level of fineness and interlocking precision. This absence points to either a lost technology or an extraordinary mastery of materials and stoneworking that has vanished from human memory. Environmental conditions surely influence the site's fate as well. Around 1000 AD, evidence suggests a prolonged drought swept across the region, undermining the agricultural base of Tiwanaku's population. This climatic shift likely contributed to the abandonment and gradual ruin of Puma Punku. Once bustling with festivals, religious rites, and political gatherings, the site fell silent, its stones toppled and scattered through centuries of natural decay and human intervention. Yet even in decline, the site's spiritual and cultural resonance did not vanish. Local legends and folklore passed down through generations carry echoes of Tiwanaku's South reverence for this place. The stories speak of celestial beings, of gates between worlds, and of powers encoded in stone. This blend of history and myth enriches the mystery further, inviting listeners to enter a meditative state where the boundaries between fact and imagination blur. The silence of Puma Punku invites calm contemplation. Its architecture encourages a sense of wonder and a deep respect for the unknown, a quality essential to the slow descent into restful sleep. Puma Punku is not simply an archaeological site, it is an enduring enigma wrapped in the highland wind, a place where the might of human ambition meets the quietude of nature. The stones stand like sentinels at the edge of time, inviting us to reflect on the skill, vision, and spirit of those who shaped them. The landscape itself, austere and majestic, holds the memory of a people who dared to build with precision and passion in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. As the night sky above the Altiplano deepens to a dark velvet, the stars seem to echo the geometry of Puma Punku. The constellations map the same angles, the same patterns woven into the stone, and the universe's silent rhythm matches the timeless pulse of the ruins below. To rest in this story is to surrender to a gentle dance between mystery and knowledge, between the solidity of rock and the fluid vastness of the cosmos. Here, at the edge of the world, beneath the gaze of ancient mountains and eternal stars, Puma Punku remains a beacon of human endurance and creativity. It whispers of a civilization that reached toward perfection, crafting stone not only as a physical matter but as a symbol of harmony between earth and sky. It reminds us that even in the harshest of places, the human spirit can carve meaning, beauty, and mystery that endure beyond the ages. The stones of Puma Punku are unlike any other. Their precision immediately arrests the gaze and stirs a profound sense of wonder. As you walk slowly among these colossal blocks, you can feel the deliberate craftsmanship that molds them into an architectural marvel that seems almost machine-made. The cuts are not rough or primitive, but sharply defined, straight, and flat with almost surgical exactness. Imagine a stone so perfectly shaped that it fits with its neighboring block seamlessly, without the need for mortar or adhesive. The joints created by these stones are so fine that not even a razor blade can slip between them, suggesting a knowledge of geometry and stone-cutting techniques far beyond what we often attribute to ancient cultures. Take, for instance, the way the stones interlock like an enormous jigsaw puzzle. These are no simple rectangular blocks stacked together. Instead, stones were intricately carved with flanges, notches, and grooves designed to fit tightly into one another. This interlocking system provided both stability and durability, capable of withstanding the seismic tremors common to the Andean region. The ingenuity of this design reveals a sophisticated understanding of load distribution and earthquake resistance. Each block bears its share of weight, while the joints allow for slight movements without collapsing. This dynamic form of construction demonstrates a marriage of art and engineering that astonishes even the most seasoned experts today. One of the most iconic features of Puma Punku are the so-called H-blocks, large stone blocks shaped somewhat like a capital H, with notches and slots positioned with such uniform precision that they seem almost modular. Scholars have suggested that these blocks were part of a prefabricated architectural system, something resembling a giant ancient Lego set, where individual stones were crafted with interchangeable shapes and sizes, allowing for mass production centuries before Industrial Revolution techniques existed. The uniformity visible in these blocks implies standardized measurements were used, a remarkable achievement given the absence of written blueprints or metal measuring tools. Consider the surfaces of the stones. They are polished to a remarkable smoothness. No evidence of crude chisel marks remains. Instead, the texture suggests the use of sophisticated abrasion techniques, likely involving the grinding of sand and water against the rock over extended periods. This grinding would have removed imperfections and created the glass-like finish that endures today despite centuries of exposure to the elements. This process, requiring immense patience and skill, highlights a deep understanding of the materials involved and a commitment to quality that defies the hurried constructions common in many ancient sites. The tools used to shape these stones remain a subject of intense speculation. Archaeologists have found evidence of stone hammers that might have been used for an initial rough shaping, but these tools alone could not account for the final precision visible at Puma Punku. The hardness of andesite and red sandstone would have quickly worn down metal tools of the time, and yet the joints are perfect and smooth. Some researchers propose that the shaping process involved a combination of pounding, grinding, and polishing to achieve these results. Yet the exact methods remain elusive, leading to theories that ancient builders may have developed specialized techniques or even lost technologies for stoneworking that rival modern machinery. One striking aspect of the stonework is the presence of holes drilled into the blocks with astonishing uniformity in diameter and depth. These cylindrical holes exhibit such precise circles and clean edges that modern engineers admit duplicating them with hand tools would be extremely difficult. Their function remains a mystery, but some suggest they were used to fit metal rods or wooden pegs to strengthen the structure. The uniformity of these holes indicates the use of specialized drilling techniques, but no direct archaeological evidence has been found for the tools that created them. Did the Tiwanaku people invent early rotary drills? Was there some unknown drilling mechanism powered by hand or foot? The answers remain hidden, shadowed by millennia. The scale of the stones is equally overwhelming. Some blocks measure over 25 feet in length, 17 feet wide, and nearly 4 feet thick, weighing in excess of 130 metric tons. Transporting and positioning such massive stones on a site perched on steep slopes and uneven terrain in the high Andes raises further questions. Traditional theories suggest that large teams of laborers, using ramps, rollers, and ropes made from natural fibers, hauled these stones across great distances, sometimes from quarries up to 60 miles away on the shores of Lake Titicaca. The sheer human effort required is staggering, demanding precise coordination, physical endurance, and logistical planning on an extraordinary scale. The possible use of prefabrication techniques fascinates modern engineers and historians alike. The stones could have been carved and shaped in the quarries with exact dimensions before being moved to the construction site, a system similar to modern manufacturing practices. Archaeological evidence hints that certain stones were shaped to fit together off-site, then brought in and assembled like pieces of a puzzle. This method would have optimized labor and precision, guaranteeing that stones matched perfectly once positioned. The concept of mass production, combined with detailed architectural planning and measurements, reveals a level of societal organization and construction sophistication previously unrecognized for this era. Even unfinished stones provide insight into the construction process. Some blocks near quarries show rougher surfaces, pitted by hammer strikes or partially ground. These remnants reveal the stages of shaping: initial pounding to remove large chunks, followed by finer grinding and polishing to achieve finished surfaces. This stepwise process underscores the monumental effort involved in preparing each stone and the high standards applied to every element. The workers of Puma Punku were artisans as much as engineers, dedicated not only to practicality but to creating structures of enduring beauty and precision. Looking again at the interlocking mechanism of the blocks, there is clear evidence of a system designed to maintain structural integrity over centuries. By overlapping stones with precise grooves and flanges, the builders ensured that the entire structure responded to environmental stresses collectively. Such a design is especially effective in a region prone to earthquakes, a necessity in the Andes where tectonic activity regularly shakes the earth. Each joint acts somewhat like a shock absorber, dispersing forces instead of concentrating them, preventing the stonework from crumbling. In this way, the architecture itself becomes a dynamic and intelligent system, far ahead of much later construction methods. The concept of descriptive geometry emerges again and again when studying Puma Punku's stonework. This branch of mathematics deals with the precise representation of three-dimensional objects in 2 dimensions, an essential skill for planning and carving stones to exact specifications. The architects and craftsmen appear to have mastered these principles intuitively or through an advanced tradition, as evidenced by the flawless angles and uniformity in the blocks. Today, creating these shapes would require computerized digital modeling and precision cutting machines. Yet, centuries ago, Puma Punku's builders achieved these results through methods still subject to debate. Despite their obvious skill, the builders of Puma Punku left no written plans or explanations of their techniques. This silence about methodology not only deepens the mystery but invites us to appreciate the complexity and sophistication hidden beneath the physical stones. It also pushes us to reconsider assumptions about ancient cultures, reminding us that innovation and creativity are ageless qualities, not bound to modern technology alone. The question lingers: how did such precision arise from an age of simple tools and human tenacity alone? Puma Punku's stonework challenges every notion of ancient capability. The precision of the cuts, the flawless fit of the joints, and the modular design of the blocks place this site among the most extraordinary architectural achievements in human history. It stands as a testament to the human spirit of exploration, ingenuity, and determination, qualities that transcend time and technology. The stones whisper a story of labor, planning, and vision. They invite us to imagine a community that melded art and engineering into a singular expression of cultural identity, one that continues to awe and inspire us today. This marvel of precision speaks to us not just through its physical presence but as a symbol of mastery over stone, space, and form. It embodies the ancient quest to control nature, to build not just for utility but for symbolic meaning and permanence. Each interlocking block at Puma Punku represents a piece of a larger puzzle, physical, intellectual, and spiritual, that urges us to keep searching, questioning, and dreaming beyond what we think is possible. The story of how the massive stones of Puma Punku arrived at their resting places is as mysterious and captivating as the stones themselves. Imagine, if you will, immense blocks of andesite and red sandstone, some weighing well over 100 tons, carved with unimaginable precision, then slowly moved across rugged, uneven terrain in a high-altitude landscape where the air is thin and biting cold. It is one of the most incredible logistical feats in the ancient world, raising questions that continue to puzzle archaeologists and engineers today. The quarries where these stones originated were not adjacent to the construction site. Some stones came from quarries located nearly 10 kilometers away, perched near the shores of Lake Titicaca, a vast high-altitude lake sacred to the ancient Andean cultures. Others, smaller blocks used for detailed carving, were sourced from quarries even farther, roughly as far as 90 kilometers away, requiring transportation across the lake itself. How the builders managed to transport such enormous stones unaided by modern machinery or animals capable of bearing heavy loads sparks deep curiosity. One widely accepted theory suggests that teams of workers used ropes made from llama skins or other natural fibers to drag these stones. Given the stone's monstrous weights, such hauling would have required enormous manpower, cooperation, and precise coordination. Picture groups of laborers positioned strategically, pulling in unison using thick, strong ropes under the bright, thin sun of the Altiplano. The pulleys, levers, and lifting devices so essential in modern construction may not have existed, yet the methodical dragging of stones over rough rock and steep slopes indicates sophisticated problem-solving and human endurance beyond assumption. This technique alone, however, struggles to fully explain how these enormous blocks ascended steep inclines to reach Puma Punku's height. To support the elevation of stones, ancient builders likely constructed earthen ramps and inclined planes, allowing blocks to be dragged gradually up. These ramps, engineered with layered sediment and capable of being reused, would have spread the weight evenly and provided manageable gradients for hauling efforts. The labor required to build and maintain these pathways was itself monumental, demonstrating an organized workforce functioning within a complex society valuing architectural innovation and societal order. A particularly striking suggestion is that the Tiwanaku builders took advantage of the cold climate and natural environment in innovative ways. In the high Andean basin, temperatures can plummet below freezing, especially at night and during certain seasons. Some researchers propose that laborers slid large stones over sheets of ice during the coldest months, dramatically reducing friction and easing transport. This idea harmonizes with known Tiwanaku engineering feats, including raised field agriculture, a sophisticated system of canals and terraces that manipulated water and frost for crop production. If true, this use of environmental conditions as a resource reveals their ingenious and adaptive spirit. Once the stones arrived at Puma Punku, the challenge shifted to assembly. The construction required not just brute force but delicate, almost surgical placement. The builders cut stones with such uniformity and planned their interlocking joints so meticulously that the process resembled assembling a massive three-dimensional puzzle. Each stone's unique shape and its numerous grooves, notches, and channels were crafted for specific fitting positions. The process demanded a deep understanding of spatial relationships, angles, and the forces each block would bear over centuries. The architectural design at Puma Punku shows evidence of prefabrication, the pre-shaping and mass production of stones to specified dimensions prior to transportation. This system would allow stones to be crafted in quarries or workshops, tested for fit, and then moved to the construction site for final assembly. Such a production line required careful measurement and standardization, reminiscent of the industrial activities that would not appear until many centuries later in human history. Remarkably, as the stones were positioned, builders used load-bearing joints that avoided the need for mortar. The precision with which the stone surfaces were cut allowed for flush joints so tight that not even a razor blade can be inserted between blocks. In some instances, the top of one stone was cut at an angle matching the underside of the stone above it, creating perfect planes that dispersed weight and stress effectively. This skillful stone fitting contributed not only to durability but also to an elegant visual effect, where the smooth surfaces and sharp edges create a seamless union. Adding to the complexity, Puma Punku's stones incorporated metal cramps shaped like the letter I, made from a copper arsenic nickel alloy. These cramps were fitted into precisely drilled slots and served to hold stones securely together. The use of metal clamps reveals an advanced understanding of metallurgy integrated into architectural practices. The craftsmen cast some of these clamps in place while others were hammered or shaped prior to installation, demonstrating both technological dexterity and an intrinsic harmony between materials. In spite of this tantalizing evidence of advanced techniques, the absence of clearly identifiable traditional tool marks on the stones deepens the enigma. Common hammer and chisel marks are missing, implying the use of techniques or tools that have since been lost. Experimental archaeologists attempting to replicate the perfectly smooth surfaces and angular cuts with known ancient tools have met with limited success, underscoring the extraordinary skills or unknown methods possessed by the Puma Punku builders. The sheer scale and precision of the stones also imply a highly organized and hierarchical society capable of mobilizing, training, and sustaining large groups of specialized laborers and artisans. Such a workforce would require leadership, planning, and support systems for food, shelter, and logistics over extended periods. The socio-political implications suggest Puma Punku was more than a ceremonial site, it was a center of power and cultural expression, embodying the technical and spiritual aspirations of the Tiwanaku civilization. The geological context played an essential role in construction. Builders selected quarries from geologically distinct areas, sourcing red sandstone from a location near Lake Titicaca and harder andesite from nearby hills. Transporting and shaping these different stones required not only different tool adaptations but also an understanding of material properties to maintain integrity during cutting and moving. The blend of stone types and their strategic placement in the complex hints at aesthetically and functionally driven design principles mastered by the architects. It is important to consider the environmental and temporal challenges faced by the builders. The cold, thin atmosphere of the Altiplano affects manual labor. Oxygen deprivation slows down pace and endurance, making every task a challenge beyond the physical. Seasonal changes affected the availability of resources and dictated the timing of construction phases. Workers had to synchronize efforts within narrow windows, balancing the demands of agriculture and social duties with the enormous endeavor of stone transport and assembly. Echoes of this logistical feat resonate through the millennia. The ingenuity and resilience required to build Puma Punku testify to an impressive symbiosis between people and their environment. The combination of natural elements, human creativity, and technical skill produce a site that captivates and inspires all today. It is a reminder that civilizations long past possessed knowledge and abilities that can rival the modern world, a narrative that invites us to rethink the history of human achievement. Through the lens of this monumental construction, we glimpse the timeless human quest to defy limitations, carve meaning into the landscape, and leave a legacy crafted both in stone and in spirit. Puma Punku's stones tell a story of collaboration, innovation, and determination, inviting listeners to imagine the tireless hands shaping, lifting, sliding, and fitting giant blocks with both care and purpose. These efforts form a bridge between past and present, grounding ancient mysteries in human reality. The effort to move and assemble majestic stones at Puma Punku, therefore, is not just an archaeological curiosity, it is a meditation on human will, highlighting how obstacles, when met with collective ingenuity and patience, yield triumphs that echo eternally. This enduring achievement embodies the power of community working toward a shared vision where every stone was more than a block, it was a message cast in granite and sandstone, a testament to what humans can achieve when driven by intention and knowledge. Puma Punku stands not only as a marvel of ancient engineering but also as a profound expression of cultural and spiritual significance. In the hands of the Tiwanaku civilization, each stone became more than just a building block, it transformed into a sacred symbol, a bridge between the earthly and the divine. This intertwining of structure and spirituality reveals a worldview where architecture was an active participant in the cosmic order, linking human existence to the rhythms of the universe. To understand the spiritual essence imbued at Puma Punku, one must look beyond its stones and consider the broader Tiwanaku culture, which flourished in the Andean highlands between 300 and 1000 AD. The Tiwanaku people developed a sophisticated belief system that integrated nature, astronomy, and ancestral reverence into their daily lives and rituals. Their city was not merely a place to live, it was a consecrated space designed to communicate with celestial forces. The design and orientation of Puma Punku reflect this philosophy, mirroring the movement of the sun and stars and serving as a terrestrial counterpart to the heavens. Symbols carved into the stones, along with the precise layering and geometric arrangements, suggest ritualistic functions. The repeated motifs indicate that Puma Punku was not built for mere utility but as a spiritual locus where priests or leaders could connect with the gods. These spaces likely hosted ceremonial events aligned with astronomical cycles, like solstices and equinoxes, marking times significant for agriculture and religious observance. In these rituals, the architecture itself would have been an active participant, with sound, shadow, and light playing roles as the sun moved across the stone's finely cut surfaces. Across the stones, subtle designs echo cosmic themes: the cross, a sacred shape associating the four cardinal directions, and the axis mundi, the cosmic world tree connecting earth and sky. This symbol repeats throughout the Tiwanaku culture, acting as a representation of universal order and balance. The concept of balance permeates the entire site, from the symmetrical layout to the precise interlocking stones, reinforcing the idea that Puma Punku was a microcosm of a balanced, harmonious universe. It was a place where physical geometry met metaphysical concepts. Moreover, the immense scale of Puma Punku, combined with its remote and commanding setting atop the high plateau, made it a site of pilgrimage and power. Its location near Lake Titicaca, itself steeped in legends as the birthplace of the Inca civilization and ancient Andean deities, elevated its status. The lake's sacred reputation added an additional layer of meaning, blending water's life-giving properties with stone's enduring permanence. Pilgrims likely journeyed long distances to this spiritual nexus, drawn by its power and mystery. Within Tiwanaku society, the construction and maintenance of Puma Punku likely involved not just builders but priests, astronomers, and community leaders working together. The site was a physical manifestation of social order, a communal project reflecting shared beliefs and values. Its upkeep and ceremonial use would have reinforced political power, uniting diverse groups under a common cosmology and promoting social cohesion. The precision and effort invested in Puma Punku suggest that it was central to the identity and pride of its people. The enigmatic design also points to the possibility that Puma Punku functioned as a calendar, tracking time and seasons critical for agricultural success. Some researchers believe that the alignment of stone platforms and walls corresponded with solstices, equinoxes, or lunar cycles, creating a giant astronomical observatory and seasonal calendar. Through this, the Tiwanaku people synchronized ceremonies with the cosmos, ensuring harmony between human activities and natural cycles. This integration of practical needs and spiritual belief exemplifies the intimate connection between the earthly world and celestial governance in Andean culture. The spiritual significance of Puma Punku extended well beyond religious rituals. The site was also a place for community gathering, political discourse, and display of power. Its monumental proportions impressed visitors and residents alike, symbolizing the might and reach of Tiwanaku influence. As a political center, Puma Punku embodied the power of rulers who claimed divine sanction, linking earthbound authority with cosmic order. This fusion of religion and governance is common in ancient civilizations but takes on a uniquely Andean character through the use of space, symbolism, and environmental adaptation. Tiwanaku's reverence for stone and landscape resonates with the Andean concept of Pachamama, or Mother Earth, which views the natural world as sacred and alive. The builders of Puma Punku harnessed this belief by shaping natural materials into forms that honored the earth and sky. Through their careful craftsmanship, they transformed raw stone into vessels of spiritual meaning, reflecting a worldview where nature and culture are inseparably intertwined. The polished stones, aligned walls, and crafted corridors evoke a sense of respect for the Earth's forces and an aspiration to participate harmoniously within them. Local legend and oral tradition continue to preserve echoes of Puma Punku's spiritual aura. Stories told by Aymara and Quechua descendants speak of powerful forces connected to the site, the presence of gods, cosmic gateways, and the awakening power of stone. These retellings contribute to the mystique of Puma Punku, keeping alive a living memory intertwined with the physical ruins. The continuing cultural significance reminds us that monuments are not merely relics but ongoing symbols in human consciousness. The sacred geometry of Puma Punku also invites reflections on the human desire for order and harmony in an often chaotic world. Geometry here is more than mathematics, it is a language of balance, beauty, and connection. In this way, the builders inscribed their philosophy into the environment, crafting a legacy that whispers across the ages. Each cut and each groove invites contemplation, encouraging us to slow down, listen, and enter into a meditative space where the mysteries of existence become tangible. The physical experience of being at Puma Punku enhances these spiritual impressions. Standing amidst the towering stones, surrounded by the vast Andean plains and under the infinite sky, visitors are enveloped in a profound sense of scale and stillness. The silence, punctuated only by distant wind or bird calls, creates a space for introspection. Here, one can feel the weight of history and the persistence of human spirit chiseled into every surface. The geometry of the site invites quiet exploration, as the eye traces lines and angles crafted with such care, connecting earthly presence to celestial infinity. Furthermore, the alignment of architecture with natural landmarks, mountains, the sun's path, and the rippling waters of Lake Titicaca ties human creation directly to the surrounding landscape. This harmony between structure and environment exemplifies the Tiwanaku worldview, where humans are participants in the larger cosmic dance. The stones, although fixed in position, seem alive with intent, their placement a testament to a deep respect for world order. This understanding adds beauty to the site's mystery, revealing an ancient commitment to living in balance with the universe. The spiritual legacy of Puma Punku enriches not only our understanding of past cultures but offers contemporary lessons about the relationship between people, nature, and the cosmos. This magnificent site teaches us about patience, precision, and reverence, qualities essential to both construction and contemplation. Its enduring presence invites us to pause, to appreciate craftsmanship not only in stone but in spirit, to recognize that true mastery encompasses both technical skill and mindful intent. Puma Punku's sacred character resonates through its enduring power to inspire wonder, reflection, and a sense of connection across time. It is a place where the mystery of human achievement meets the eternal, where stone becomes scripture, and where the quest for meaning continues to unfold beneath the vast Andean heavens. As night envelops the highlands, and the stars cast their silent light upon these monuments, the spiritual heartbeat of Puma Punku can still be felt, a gentle yet persistent rhythm echoing the profound bond between earth and sky. The story of Puma Punku is not just about creation and majesty, it also carries the weight of mystery tied to disappearance and decline. The rise and fall of the Tiwanaku civilization, the culture credited with building this architectural gem, provoke questions not only about how such greatness was achieved, but why and how it vanished. This transition from vibrancy to silence adds another layer of complexity to the enigma, inviting us to explore the fragile balance between human achievement and the forces of nature and time. At its peak, Tiwanaku was a thriving urban hub, a center of political power, religious ceremony, and cultural innovation. Its influence spread across the vast Andean highlands, establishing trade networks and exchange of ideas. However, by approximately the 11th century AD, this great city entered a period of decline, and by the time the Incas emerged centuries later, Tiwanaku had diminished significantly. The causes of this decline remain debated, with a mix of climatic, environmental, and socio-political factors likely contributing. Scientific evidence points strongly toward climate change, particularly a prolonged drought, as a principal factor in the civilization's collapse. For centuries, the region enjoyed a relatively stable climate that supported its agricultural system of raised fields and canal irrigation. These sophisticated engineering feats allowed the Tiwanaku to cultivate crops and sustain a large population in an otherwise harsh environment. However, severe droughts beginning in the 10th and 11th centuries led to crop failures and resource shortages, destabilizing the careful balance that supported urban life. Without sufficient food and water, social structures began to falter. Population decline would have followed as famine and hardship took their toll. Stress on political authority and religious institutions fueled social unrest. Archaeological evidence even suggests episodes of internal conflict and violence during this turbulent period. The great monuments, including Puma Punku, were abandoned, left to the mercy of time, earthquakes, and erosion. Earthquakes add another dramatic element to the unfolding story. The region lies near active tectonic zones, exposing constructions to periodic seismic activity. Some researchers point to destructive shocks as responsible for toppling many of the monumental stones at Puma Punku. The scattered state of the ruins and broken blocks tells a tale of violent disruption, a natural force that slowly dismantled the site's once meticulous order. What took centuries to build was vulnerable to sudden, devastating shakes, reminding us how human achievements can be fragile against natural power. Millennia later, the exact knowledge and skills that once created Puma Punku had faded from collective memory. The site was essentially forgotten, buried beneath the stories of new cultures and civilizations passing through the Andes. The Inca and later Spanish colonizers would find remnants of Tiwanaku, but without the cultural continuity to understand or revive its meaning. Local legends preserved fragments of its sacred nature, but much of its history became veiled in mystery and myth. This gradual erosion of knowledge did not diminish the symbolic power of the ruins. Instead, Puma Punku took on new layers of meaning. For indigenous peoples, it remained a powerful cultural symbol, a testament to ancestral greatness and connection to the land. Its stones were sometimes repurposed in later constructions, but the original majesty still whispered through the remaining ruins. This buried monument became both a physical and spiritual link to the distant past, a marker of identity and endurance. In modern times, Puma Punku has re-emerged into global consciousness through archaeological exploration and popular fascination. Researchers from around the world have sought to uncover the history behind the site, piecing together clues from scattered stones, geological analysis, and study of the broader Tiwanaku complex. Each excavation adds new understanding but also raises fresh questions about the ancient builders and their sudden disappearance. Despite advances in technology and methodology, the mystery surrounding Puma Punku's creators persist. How could a culture wield such extraordinary architectural mastery and vanish so thoroughly from history? The loss of written records and the site's partial destruction mean many answers remain elusive. This ambiguity increases the allure, inviting endless speculation and imaginative reconstructions of the past. More recently, interest from alternative and fringe theories has introduced perspectives imagining lost high technologies or extraterrestrial intervention. While these theories capture public imagination, mainstream archaeology continues to emphasize cultural continuity, environmental explanation, and human adaptability. The Tiwanaku people were exceptional innovators, capable of solving monumental challenges with intelligence and skill grounded in their environment and cultural worldview. The narrative of decline and disappearance at Puma Punku serves as a poignant reminder of the impermanence of civilizations. It teaches us that no matter how advanced or powerful a society becomes, it remains sensitive to shifts in climate, resources, and social cohesion. The ruins reflect both the pinnacle of human achievement and the fragility of human systems, balanced delicately between creation and decay. The story also invites reflection on legacy, the ways people leave traces that transcend time. Puma Punku continues to speak across centuries, inspiring modern architects, engineers, artists, and spiritual seekers. Its precision, mystery, and endurance symbolize human aspiration toward permanence and meaning in a changing world. Even broken and scattered, the stones call us to contemplate the grand sweep of history and the lasting impact of human hands in the landscape. As we stand metaphorically at the edge of this ancient world, looking back from the present, the weight of absence touches us with both sadness and awe. The silence left by the Tiwanaku's departure echoes profoundly. Yet within that silence lies a deep story, one of human resilience, innovation, culture, and the universal search for connection with something greater than ourselves. Puma Punku is a monument not only of stone but of memory, urging us to listen carefully and respect the wisdom embedded within its enduring walls. The vast highland plains that once supported bustling cities now seem quiet, but they are alive with the intangible presence of those who came before. The mysteries of disappearances and destructions are part of a larger, ongoing human narrative, one marked by cycles of growth and decline, innovation and loss. This rhythm, both natural and cultural, is woven into the very fabric of sites like Puma Punku, honest reminders of the limits and possibilities of human endeavor. Today, Puma Punku stands as an invitation, a call to explore, understand, and preserve. In its stones, dusted with centuries of wind and time, lie lessons about our relationship with the earth, the cosmos, and each other. The ruins embody a silent dialogue between past and present, bridging gaps in time and perception. They remind us of continuity even within loss, and how every stone set in place carries stories waiting for new voices to awaken them. This legacy beckons us toward humility and wonder. As the sun sets over the Andean plateaus and the stars begin to shimmer, the ghosts of Tiwanaku whisper in the wind, reminding us that all human creations, no matter how grand, are part of a greater unfolding story. Puma Punku remains a monument to both what was achieved and what is remembered, a timeless site where history and mystery entwine, urging us forward with every breath we take beneath its watchful stones. The echoes of the past resonate strongly within the ruins of Puma Punku, drawing us ever deeper into the enigma of the Tiwanaku civilization. As the stones stand mute witnesses to a lost world, so too do the artifacts and cultural remnants scattered across the vast highlands. These fragments tell a story of complexity and sophistication, a society that was rich in ritual, artistry, and knowledge, intricately connected to the landscape and cosmos that surrounded it. Among the most striking elements recovered by archaeologists are the numerous carved stone figures and altars fashioned in the Tiwanaku style, revealing insights into the spiritual and social fabric of the culture. These statues, some humanoid and others embodying hybrid creatures, continue to captivate with their intricate designs and symbolic detail. They are more than mere decoration, they serve as potent reminders of the Tiwanaku worldview, where the boundaries between humans, animals, and gods were porous and fluid, reflecting a cosmology deeply rooted in nature and transformation. Central to Tiwanaku artistry is the depiction of the staff god, a figure often seen wielding two staffs and embodying divine authority. The image symbolizes the duality inherent in Andean belief systems, the balance between opposites such as night and day, life and death, creation and destruction. Invoked in temples and ceremonial centers, the staff god represents the cosmic forces believed to govern both the heavens and the earth. Its presence in the ruins emphasizes the spiritual importance of the site and its role as a focal point for religious activity. Among the cultural artifacts, pottery and textiles provide additional layers of understanding. Pottery found at Tiwanaku sites is characterized by its fine craftsmanship and symbolic imagery, often decorated with geometric patterns and animals integral to the region's mythology. These everyday objects carry artistic and ceremonial significance, revealing a society that valued beauty and meaning in both the mundane and sacred. The textiles, fashioned from camelid fibers, were similarly decorated with intricate motifs, many of which echo the designs seen carved into stone. They served not only as functional clothing but as expressions of identity and social status. Burials and funerary practices at Tiwanaku sites further illuminate the cultural significance of Puma Punku and its people. Excavations have uncovered elaborate tombs containing offerings such as ceramics, metals, textiles, and even food, reflecting beliefs about the afterlife and the continued journey of the spirit. These practices suggest a culture attentive to ancestry, where the dead maintained an ongoing presence within the community's spiritual life. Puma Punku's monumental architecture may well have been part of this interweaving of life and death, earth and spirit, providing a sacred stage for rituals honoring the cycle of existence. The extensive canal systems and raised agricultural fields surrounding Tiwanaku and Puma Punku also embody the civilization's mastery over their harsh environment. These engineering projects represent not only practical responses to climate and terrain but sophisticated integration of technology and ecology. The raised fields protected crops from frost and improved drainage, enhancing productivity and food security, while canals regulated water flow across the landscape. This agricultural ingenuity supported the population and allowed Tiwanaku to flourish in an environment that demanded constant negotiation with nature's forces. The relationship between architecture and landscape is crucial to understanding Puma Punku's cultural role. The site was carefully designed to harmonize with the natural features of the high plateau, aligning with prominent mountain peaks, water sources, and celestial events. This deliberate placement exemplifies the Tiwanaku principle of reciprocities between humans and the environment, a balanced exchange sustaining both community and cosmos. Rather than conquering nature, the builders adapted and partnered with their surroundings, embedding their structures within a vast spiritual and physical network that defined their world. Excavations have also revealed the use of pigments and plaster in finishing stone surfaces and sculptures, adding color and life to the site's monumental features. Traces of red, yellow, and other ochres suggest that vibrant visual displays once enhanced the architectural spaces, transforming them into immersive environments charged with spiritual energy. This sensory dimension would have deepened the emotional and ritual impact of ceremonies held at Puma Punku, enveloping participants in a multisensory experience designed to evoke transcendence and connection. The complex craftsmanship found in metalworking complements the sophistication of the stonework. Tiwanaku artisans worked copper, bronze, and silver, creating items ranging from utilitarian tools to ritual objects and ornaments. The presence of metal clamps and fasteners in Puma Punku's construction underscores how metallurgical knowledge intertwined with architectural innovation. These metals symbolized both technological achievement and spiritual power, often associated with ritual use and the display of elite status. One of the most fascinating discoveries is the apparent standardized system of measurement evidenced in the uniformity of stone blocks and construction elements. This suggests the existence of precision tools or units of measure, codified knowledge passed down through specialized guilds or schools of craftsmanship. The societal investment in this knowledge hints at an organized and stratified culture valuing exactness and aesthetics, where architecture was a language of authority and harmony. Trade and cultural exchange likely played vital roles in Tiwanaku's development. Artifacts found at the site indicate connections to distant regions, evidenced by materials not native to the Andean highlands, obsidian from volcanic zones far away, shells from coastal areas, and certain metals of exotic provenance. These imports illuminate complex networks of exchange linking Tiwanaku to broader Andean and South American landscapes. Puma Punku, as a ceremonial and political center, would have been a magnet for merchants, pilgrims, and emissaries, serving both practical and symbolic purposes. The archaeological site today reveals the layered history of continuous human interaction with the landscape. The erosion and collapse witnessed in the physical ruins tell tales of environmental transformation, human intervention, and centuries of exposure to wind, rain, and seismic activity. Preservation efforts rely on meticulous research and advanced technology, such as 3D modeling and geophysical surveys, striving to protect and reconstruct Puma Punku's story for future generations. These studies deepen our appreciation for the ingenuity and artistry of the ancient builders and provide insights into methods that may inspire modern architectural and engineering innovation. Puma Punku also captivates the imagination through its role in contemporary cultural identity. Descendants of the Tiwanaku people, including the Aymara and Quechua, continue to honor the site as a sacred place, maintaining traditional ceremonies and storytelling that keep ancient wisdom alive. This living heritage bridges past with present, grounding modern communities in their ancestral roots and reinforcing a profound bond with the land. The cultural revival surrounding Puma Punku exemplifies resilience and continuity, embodying the enduring human desire to connect across time. In addition to local and academic interest, Puma Punku has drawn global attention, inspiring countless accounts, documentaries, and explorations that blend archaeology, anthropology, and speculative inquiry. While some narratives veer toward mystical or extraterrestrial explanations, scholarly research remains grounded in evidence-based investigation, emphasizing human creativity and adaptation. This balance of scientific rigor and open fascination fuels ongoing discovery and dialogue, keeping Puma Punku vibrant in the global imagination. The daily life of those who built and inhabited Tiwanaku unfolds through careful examination of domestic remains, agricultural tools, and workshop debris. These mundane artifacts enrich the grand narrative, reminding us that behind every monumental stone lay communities of families, laborious, artisans, and priests, all contributing to the society's fabric. Their lives were intertwined with the rhythms of nature and ritual, crafting a civilization both grand and intimately human. Further investigation into Tiwanaku's social structure reveals a likely hierarchical system, where leaders, perhaps priests or kings, wielded significant influence, uniting diverse groups through shared religion and political organization. The monumental scale of Puma Punku reflects the capacity of these leaders to mobilize resources and labor, embodying power and divine sanction. This integration of governance with spirituality positioned the site as a focal point for identity and authority in the Andean world. As studies advance, new techniques such as isotopic analysis of human remains and genetic studies provide a window into migration patterns and population dynamics. These research avenues uncover interactions between Tiwanaku and neighboring cultures, illustrating a vibrant tapestry of cultural exchange and adaptation. Puma Punku is thus not an isolated mystery but part of a complex, interconnected prehistoric world shaped by movement and interaction over millennia. In sum, the cultural depth embedded in Puma Punku and the broader Tiwanaku civilization excels in blending ritual, art, technology, and community. It challenges modern preconceptions about ancient societies' capabilities and offers an inspiring example of human ingenuity harmonizing with spiritual aspiration. The stones and artifacts serve as portals, enabling us to traverse time and connect with a people whose legacy is carved not only in rock but etched into the enduring human spirit. Puma Punku, standing as a monumental testament to the ingenuity of the Tiwanaku people, occupies a unique place within the vast tapestry of Andean civilizations. Its influence extends far beyond its immediate location in the Bolivian highlands, creating ripples of cultural, technological, and spiritual resonance that shape the development of societies throughout the Andes. Understanding Puma Punku's role within this broader landscape reveals a story of connection, adaptation, and legacy, one that continuously shaped and enriched successive civilizations, culminating in the rise of the Inca Empire and beyond. The Andean region, characterized by its rugged mountains, expansive plateaus, and varied ecological zones, was home to a mosaic of cultures long before European contact. Among these, Tiwanaku and its architectural marvel, Puma Punku, served as a foundational civilization. Emerging around 300 AD, Tiwanaku grew in prominence and complexity, becoming a center for trade, religion, and political power. Its reach extended across vast distances, touching communities from the Altiplano to the Amazon lowlands, intertwining cultural practices and innovations through exchange and influence. Puma Punku's advanced construction techniques and symbolic architecture provided a blueprint of sorts, inspiring neighboring regions. Sites spread across the Andean corridor exhibit elements reminiscent of Tiwanaku's characteristic precision stonework, ceremonial layouts, and cosmological alignments. While each culture remained distinct, traces of shared knowledge and reverence for similar themes serve as evidence of a dynamic cultural dialogue influencing the trajectory of civilization in this challenging environment. This dialogue set the stage for the eventual rise of the Inca, who would come to dominate the Andes centuries later. The Inca civilization absorbed and integrated many aspects of earlier societies, including Tiwanaku, Reyna, and Wari, often building directly over or near their predecessors' settlements. In doing so, they both honored and transformed the legacies left behind. Puma Punku and the Tiwanaku complex, in particular, fascinated the Incas due to their monumental scale and spiritual significance. These sites were regarded as ancestral hubs of power, a source of legitimacy and divine connection that the Incas sought to harness through political unification. In many ways, the Inca echoed Tiwanaku's principles, adapting its architectural styles, social organization, and religious cosmology to their expanding empire. The modularity and precision of Tiwanaku's stonework found resonance in the Inca's famous masonry. Their tightly fitting walls and trapezoidal doors demonstrate similar engineering sophistication and symbolic intent. The continuity between Tiwanaku and Inca architectural traditions underscores a shared intellectual heritage rooted in the Andean landscape and its spiritual values. Trade networks expanded under Tiwanaku's influence, creating economic corridors that linked disparate ecological zones. These networks allowed the exchange of goods such as turquoise, obsidian, salt, foodstuffs, and textiles, fostering interdependence among tribes and chiefdoms. Puma Punku acted as a hub within this system, with pilgrims, traders, and diplomats traveling across the region to participate in ceremonies, markets, and governance. This pattern of interaction laid the groundwork for the vast road systems later developed by the Inca, connecting the rugged Andean terrain into a cohesive imperial infrastructure. The spiritual and ceremonial practices rooted in Tiwanaku's worldview also echoed through subsequent cultures. Puma Punku and its alignments with celestial bodies held meanings tied to agricultural cycles and cosmological balance, themes that recur throughout Andean religion. The veneration of deities associated with natural elements like sun, moon, earth, and water remained central, with ritual spaces designed to channel these sacred forces. Puma Punku's design as a cosmic gateway between realms was a visionary expression of the Andean concept of duality and interconnectedness, a philosophy that resonated deeply with later Andean peoples. Over centuries, the legacy of Puma Punku was both preserved and transformed. Nearby archaeological sites suggest ongoing habitation and reverence long after the Tiwanaku civilization waned. This continuity points to an enduring connection to the sacred landscape and cultural memory. As local groups evolved and adapted, they carried forward fragments of Tiwanaku practices and beliefs, embedding them within new socio-political contexts. Puma Punku's stones thus serve as living links, anchoring the identity and spirituality of successive generations. European colonization brought new challenges and disruptions, but even then, Puma Punku remained a focal point of cultural significance. The arrival of Spanish conquistadors introduced profound upheaval, altering the social fabric and imposing foreign systems of governance and religion. Yet, the indigenous populations maintained a resilient attachment to their ancestral lands and traditions. Stories, rituals, and knowledge associated with Puma Punku survived clandestinely, passed down through oral histories and ceremonial observances that preserved a sacred bond with the site. Today, Puma Punku stands at a crossroads between past and present. Archaeological investigations continue to reveal the depths of its significance, employing cutting-edge technologies such as LiDAR scanning and geochemical analysis to peer beneath the surface. These studies enrich our understanding of Puma Punku's construction methods, cultural context, and environmental adaptations, while also unveiling the broader networks that connected it to an expansive Andean world. Contemporary indigenous communities play an essential role in this ongoing narrative. Through active participation in research, cultural preservation, and education, they assert sovereignty and recognition, ensuring that Puma Punku remains a living heritage site. Cultural revitalization initiatives celebrate ancestral knowledge, weaving it into modern expressions of identity and resilience. This vibrant engagement with the past fosters a dynamic dialogue, a synthesis of science, tradition, and spirituality. Puma Punku's influence extends beyond its geographical confines into global consciousness, symbolizing human creativity and perseverance. Its precision and mystery challenge simplistic views of ancient history, inviting respect for civilizations that achieved extraordinary feats without the technologies we often assume are necessary. This realization broadens appreciation for diverse expressions of intelligence and culture, encouraging humility and curiosity as we explore the human journey. The site also inspires new generations of architects, engineers, and artists. Its combination of structural ingenuity, respect for natural surroundings, and symbolic depth offers lessons for sustainable design and cultural sensitivity. Puma Punku exemplifies the integration of environment, function, and meaning, a model relevant to contemporary challenges of urbanization and environmental stewardship. As we delve deeper into the ancient landscape of the Andes, Puma Punku stands as both a physical monument and an idea, a reminder that human achievement is layered, multifaceted, and deeply connected to place and belief. This vast and compelling heritage invites us to continue exploring, learning, and dreaming, linking the past with the present in a timeless dance of discovery. Puma Punku's silent stones have long withstood the passage of time, but their secrets are only now being coaxed into the light through the tireless work of archaeologists, engineers, and preservationists combined with cutting-edge technology. The story of Puma Punku's rediscovery, excavation, and ongoing restoration is a fascinating journey in itself, mirroring the careful precision engraved in its stones. This contemporary chapter in the monument's life breathes new vitality into ancient mysteries, while deepening our appreciation for the people who shaped the site and the world they inhabited. The formal exploration of Puma Punku began earnestly in the 20th century when modern archaeology took an interest in Tiwanaku's vast complex. Early excavations revealed a sprawling site of interlocking platforms and colossal stones, but the scope and complexity of Puma Punku's construction presented new challenges. The enormous size of some stones and their scattering across the site required new methods for documentation, measurement, and analysis beyond traditional digging. Scholars quickly realized that understanding Puma Punku demanded a multidisciplinary approach, combining geology, architecture, anthropology, and history into a unified investigation. Over the decades, archaeologists faced tremendous logistical hurdles. The high altitude and challenging climate of the Bolivian Altiplano made working conditions demanding. Intense sun, extreme cold, and unpredictable weather dictated politically and physically motivated stops and starts. Yet, researchers persevered, often collaborating with local communities to deepen the cultural and historical context of their findings. Excavations gradually revealed the systematic organization of the site, including stone workshops, platforms, and roads indicating a highly planned urban design. The precision in Puma Punku's stone cutting and fitting became ever more apparent as detailed mapping and 3D imaging techniques advanced. Technological advancements in the 21st century have radically transformed the study of Puma Punku. Tools such as LiDAR, light detection and ranging, scanning allowing the precise measurement of terrain beneath dense vegetation or debris have revealed hidden features and planned relationships between the complex elements. Satellite imagery, drone photography, and photogrammetry have opened new ways to visualize and reconstruct the original scale and layout. These technologies allow archaeologists to piece together the scattered remnants into virtual reconstructions, bringing Puma Punku's ancient grandeur closer to comprehension. One of the most exciting developments is the use of 3D modeling to digitally document the stones down to millimeter accuracy. This facilitates the study of interlocking joints, carving techniques, and wear patterns without risking damage to the physical site. Researchers can simulate how blocks might have fit together, how the site would have looked in its prime, and even project hypotheses on construction sequences. This digital resurrection aids not only research but preservation, offering detailed records that could guide restoration efforts and protect Puma Punku from the ravages of time and tourism. Restoration at Puma Punku walks a delicate line between safeguarding both the physical stones and the intangible historical fabric they represent. The fragile state of many blocks, some toppled and fractured by centuries of earthquakes and weather, demands careful conservation. Restorers utilize materials and methods respectful to the original craftsmanship while incorporating new technologies designed for minimal impact. The goal is not to reconstruct in a way that imposes modern aesthetics but to preserve the authenticity and solemnity of the site, allowing the stones to continue telling their story. The collaboration between archaeologists and indigenous communities has become central to Puma Punku's future. Local Aymara and Quechua peoples hold ancestral ties to the land and its traditions, and their participation in research enhances cultural sensitivity and stewardship. These communities often provide knowledge passed down through oral histories and rituals that enrich scientific interpretations. A shared commitment to preserving Puma Punku fosters respect for heritage and inclusion, ensuring that restoration honors both past creators and living descendants. Preservation efforts also confront environmental challenges. The altitude, temperature fluctuations, and increased tourism pressure require continuous monitoring and adaptation. Protecting the site's delicate stone surfaces from weathering and erosion involves innovative protective measures, sometimes including sheltering vulnerable areas or limiting access. Sustainable tourism management seeks to balance visitor experience with conservation, encouraging respectful engagement with the site's profound history. Puma Punku has also captured the imagination of a global audience, inspiring documentaries, scholarly debates, and public fascination. It has become a symbol of ancient genius and mystery, bridging scientific inquiry and popular culture. Films and books showcase its architectural wonders and enigmatic origins, fostering curiosity and appreciation worldwide. Their narratives emphasize the meticulous craftsmanship, puzzling technology, and spiritual dimensions that make Puma Punku an extraordinary landmark in human history. Beyond public fascination, Puma Punku serves as a case study in interdisciplinary cooperation. The site brings together experts from archaeology, materials science, engineering, anthropology, and environmental science, blending their perspectives to understand the full context. Each discipline contributes vital insights from the precise analysis of stone composition to the cultural significance of site layout. This holistic approach models future investigations into ancient architectures worldwide and enriches our collective knowledge. Exciting discoveries continue to emerge, reinvigorating understanding and raising fresh questions. Excavations uncover smaller, previously hidden stone pieces that complement the large blocks, revealing details about construction processes and social organization. Analysis of tool marks, residue, and stone sourcing employs geochemical and microscopic methods that trace the origin and crafting methods. These subtle clues help reconstruct the sequence of events shaping Puma Punku's creation and evolution. Within the broader archaeological community, Puma Punku embodies a frontier where science embraces mystery. While empirical methods reveal factual data, the site's unknowns preserve a space for wonder and imagination. Researchers openly explore multiple hypotheses about construction techniques, cultural exchange, and symbolic meaning, acknowledging the limitations inherent in studying sites so ancient and partly destroyed. This humility and curiosity inspire ongoing research and dialogue, inviting participation from diverse voices and disciplines. The story of Puma Punku's archaeological rediscovery also reflects changes in how the discipline relates to indigenous heritage sites globally. Modern practices prioritize ethical considerations, community involvement, and sustainable preservation. Puma Punku exemplifies these values, emphasizing respect for cultural narratives and collaborative stewardship. This evolving approach highlights how archaeological sites function as living connections between history, identity, and the future. As we look forward, Puma Punku's continued preservation and study promise to shed even more light on the ancients' remarkable achievements. Emerging technologies like non-invasive ground-penetrating radar, AI-driven pattern recognition, and enhanced materials analysis will further unravel its mysteries without compromising fragile remains. These innovations offer hope that the site's complexity and meaning can be understood more fully, enhancing both scholarship and public knowledge. More broadly, Puma Punku inspires reflection on humanity's capacity to create enduring legacies. Its stones, though silent, speak loudly across millennia, reminding us that patience, precision, and vision can transcend time. Their survival invites us to contemplate our own contributions to cultural heritage and the importance of safeguarding history against erosion, physical and metaphorical. In this intersection of past and present, between ancient stones and modern technologies, Puma Punku continues its majestic narrative and ongoing dialogue between creators long gone and seekers today. the site persists as a testament to human ingenuity and the profound mysteries that tie us to the earth, the cosmos, and each other. In the stillness of the Andean night, where the air is thin and cold, where the stars glimmer with an ancient light, the stones of Puma Punku stand, silent, majestic, timeless. They whisper secrets, carved not only in stone but in time itself, a message from a civilization that reached beyond the limits of its era, that spoke through precision, through geometry, and through spirit. These stones, so massive, so finely crafted, resist the passage of centuries, inviting us to pause, to listen, to wonder. Imagine the hands that shaped these stones, the minds that planned their perfect fittings, the hearts that believed in a harmony between earth and sky, between stone and spirit. Imagine the long days, the tireless labor, the shared vision, spanning seasons, generations, all aligned with the cycles of the cosmos. Every groove, every angle, every interlocking block reveals a story of mastery and mystery, a testament to human will and wonder. Now, let this vision settle within your mind, calming, gentle, expansive. Feel the connection between past and present, between human aspiration and the vast universe. Know that this story is not just about stones but about us, about the timeless desire to create, to understand, to belong. Puma Punku is a gift of that desire, a beacon glowing softly across ages, encouraging us to seek, to learn, to dream. As the wind moves lightly across the plateau, as night deepens and the mountains hold their breath, let the quiet beauty of Puma Punku soothe you. Let the rhythm of the Andean highlands, the pulse of ancient hands and eternal stars, guide you toward rest. The stones will stand long after, keeping their mysteries safe, while you journey gently into sleep, cradled by the vast silence of time and stone. In this moment, embrace the mystery, the artistry, the soul of Puma Punku. Let the soft cadence of this story carry you away, into dreams filled with wonder, with discovery, with peace. And when the dawn breaks, may you awaken enriched by the silent wisdom of a place that defies time, that speaks through stone, that lives forever in the heart of the earth. Sleep now, beneath the watchful stones, among the echoes of the ancients, embraced by the endless sky, and know that you are part of this timeless journey, this eternal dance of stone, spirit, and stars. Good night.